You're watching 11 Alive Morning News. 11 minutes of nonstop news starts now.
Kicking off your 11 minutes of nonstop news with a check of our forecast.
All right, Chesley, it's going to be a hot one.
Oh man, you can feel it out there right now. Even though we have mostly cloudy skies on the outside, the sun will rise. We'll get partly sunny skies in here, and those temperatures will heat up. Already in the 60s just about everywhere you look, except for the far north. You got temperatures in the 50s. But today, well into those 80s. In fact, near 90 for an afternoon high temperature today with those winds out of the southwest on the light side. It will be hot today. Rain comes tomorrow. More on that coming up. Guys, back to you.
And we continue to follow breaking news right now where we are seeing a strong police presence off of Marietta Street. Molly Oak is on the scene for us right now. West Side Atlanta, right outside the Bar Taco restaurant, Molly.
Yeah, and we just saw an Atlanta police car get towed off the scene. If you take a look, officers still here. We still have police lights going, cars around. We have that police tape still up. Again, this is at the intersection of Marietta Street and Howell Mill, just a block or so over from North Side, as you mentioned, Aisha, near that Bar Taco, really popular restaurant. Police still are here working the scene. As we continue to try to learn more, we will bring you updates either on air or online at 11alive.com. Guys.
All right, turning to another breaking news we're following for you. A woman fighting for her life this morning after she was pulled from a house fire. Firefighters were on the scene starting about 3 a.m. There were several people inside, all of them family. A woman was taken to the hospital. As for the cause, we're learning more about it. The fire captain says it's a little too early to determine for certain, but he says the candles in the home may have played a factor here. He said the family was burning candles inside because the power went out yesterday. We'll stay on top of the latest and have more for you on 11alive.com.
This morning, police hope you can help them find a person of interest connected with the death of a teenage girl. They are looking for Jamarcus McCrary. East Point police want to talk to him about the case where a 16-year-old girl was found beaten to death and left partially nude on the front lawn of a home along Ben Hill Road. If you know where McCrary is, please call Crime Stoppers.
Developing now, Walmart tells us they're working quickly to fix the MLK Drive store after a fire there on Tuesday morning. They're open for curbside pickup now, but for pharmacy customers only. They're not sure when they will fully reopen. It's creating some issues for the community there. You can see on this map that the store is right next to several Atlanta HBCUs, and it's the only major walkable grocery store in that area.
This morning, gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams pressing pause on raising money for her own campaign. Instead, she's focusing on fundraising for abortion rights groups all across the state. Governor Kemp, who is running for re-election, signed a new law less than 24 hours ago. It's called Betsy's Law. It lets nonprofits offer free maternity housing resources for those who are pregnant or recently had a baby. Governor Kemp said he is, quote, committed to continuing Georgia's reputation of being a state that protects life at all stages.
Some 50 candidates in Georgia's primary election are calling for the state to switch to hand-marked paper ballots. And the demands are coming from all sides, Democrat, Republican, and Libertarian. Critics say the Dominion voting machine Georgia uses is unreliable and can be hacked. Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger says he has full confidence in those Dominion machines.
A new pilot program at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport hopes to offset the closing of the only full care hospital in South Fulton County. Atlanta Fire Rescue partnering with Right Sight Health to direct patients to appointments outside of the ER. They put the program in motion after Atlanta Medical Center South announced it would transition into an urgent care and rehab center.
Blackhall Studios is moving forward to become Georgia's largest film studio. A development authority recently approved a $68 million tax break and infrastructure credits for the project. Our partners at the Atlanta Business Chronicle say the expansion in southwest DeKalb County could boost property values in that area. It's set to bring in 2,400 jobs.
Thousands of Georgia restaurants are still waiting for the financial help they need to stay open.
During her visit to Atlanta this week, the head of the Small Business Administration vowed that the Biden administration is doing all it can to help these restaurants out. Jerry Carnes talked to the administrator of the Small Business Association and is here to explain what she had to say. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning. It's been 1 month since the U.S. House of Representatives agreed to replenish the Restaurant Revitalization Fund, voting to supply $42 billion for a COVID relief fund that ran dry last year. But senators have to agree, and they have taken no action. Half of the independent restaurants in the nation say without that money, they may not survive. Everyone needs a jolt. It wasn't caffeine, but a much-needed financial boost that has kept Kennesaw's Independent Grounds Cafe percolating. Owner Lorna Hyde is one of the lucky ones who got a slice of the restaurant revitalization fund before it ran dry.
We're still working on getting the foot traffic that we need. And if there was additional funding right now, we would jump on it.
A survey by the National Association of Independent Businesses found nearly half of the restaurant owners questioned feel they won't survive the next 6 months unless Congress replenishes the revitalization fund. 2/3 of those owners say they need a financial boost to pay rent, utilities, and suppliers. Inflation is a major issue, as well as staffing shortages brought on by the pandemic. While Congress wrestles over funding issues, the head of the Small Business Administration says part of her focus is getting people back to work.
Child care remains an issue. We want to contribute to providing more supply. Affordable child care, trusted child care can help attract more people back to the labor force.
Lorna Hyde is looking for more financial assistance on her own.
Big banks won't lend to you unless you are getting $350,000 loans, and I don't need $350,000.
She's survived the pandemic and a move that closed her business for several months. Now she's looking for ways to turn months of survival into years. Before running out of money last year, the Restaurant Revitalization Fund helped about 100,000 businesses across the country, or about 1/3 of the restaurants that applied for the help.
All right, getting you back out to breaking news on Atlanta's west side, right here on Marietta Street. We see this police presence right outside of the Bar Taco restaurant. In the last 20 minutes, we've learned that a police car has been towed away from the scene. Our Molly Oak is on the ground working us for us, and she also says she just saw someone being taken away in handcuffs. She is out there working to get more information as we see investigators still combing through this scene, trying to figure out exactly what happened here so that we can bring it to you. This is right outside the popular Bar Taco and Arden's Garden stores right there on Marietta Street on Atlanta's west side. Stick with 11 Alive. We'll bring you more information as soon as it comes into the newsroom.
This morning, we've learned that Georgia health investigators are looking into several reported cases of hepatitis in children. The sudden liver disease reported in kids all over the world now has doctors here scrambling for answers. So here's what they say parents need to know. If your child has a lack of energy or feeling fatigued, if your child is feeling nauseous or doesn't have much of an appetite, you also need to look for these signs. Look for jaundice, maybe the yellow in their eyes or dark urine and a yellowing of the skin. We spoke with Dr. Sujatha Reddy, 11 Alive medical correspondent, who says a majority of kids who developed hepatitis from adenovirus,
which really is a inflammation of the liver, where this inflammation keeps the liver from working like it's supposed to. This hepatitis, it has been reversible, and the majority of children have recovered. A few have gotten very ill, and one has actually required a transplant, but luckily that's only one.
So right now it's unclear how many cases were reported in Georgia, but we'll keep a close eye on it.
Your time right now is 6:56. Let's get a look at some other top stories you need to know before you head out the door. Right now, higher fencing is going up around the Supreme Court in preparation for more protests today. It is non-scalable, similar to what was set up around the Capitol following last year's riots. Already thousands have rallied around the area since a leaked draft opinion that suggests the Supreme Court is poised to overturn Roe v. Wade.
First Lady Jill Biden is leaving today for Romania and Slovakia. Those countries border western Ukraine. It's a 4-day visit in support of Ukraine. Dr. Biden will meet with some of the millions of Ukrainian refugee families on Sunday.
All right, if you're going to be heading out this afternoon, it should be dry for us. Temperatures will be well into the 80s by then, on our way to the upper 80s, closer to 90 for an afternoon high today. By 3 o'clock, when the kids are getting out of school, 87 degrees will be your temperature. Going up to near 90, we'll drop back down to about 87 degrees by 6 o'clock tonight. Low chance for rain today. It's only about 25%. Higher chance tomorrow. Be weather ready.
Recap on that breaking news we brought you from Marietta Street. We have learned an officer was shot in the leg but is expected to be okay. Stick with us here and on 11alive.com to get you more updates on that story.
Today's show is next.